Thank you. So good evening, everyone. This is the regular meeting of the board for ALCOSAN. This is September 25th, 2025. Can we have a roll call, please?
Emily Kincaid. Darren Kelly.
Here.
Pat Katina.
Here.
Teresa Cal Smith.
Here.
Sylvia Wilson.
Here.
Harry Readshaw.
Here.
Dr.
Present. Let's all rise to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So prior to this meeting, there was an executive session that was held. There were no votes taken during that meeting. Are there any public comments? There are no public comments, okay. Next, information items, open house recap. Lisa George.
Hello, everybody. Open house, you may have heard such a thing just happened recently, so we're here to talk about it. Okay, here we go, open house highlights. So now this is the after all of the hype. So anyway, a lot of you I recognize from either coming, helping out, participating, inviting others. Quite a few of your names we heard over the MC's speaker and also helped us out a lot. So we appreciate you very, very much. And thank you for helping make it so successful. Okay, as I mentioned prior to open house, the last time we talked about it, we were able to expand our footprint, which we are very excited about, due to a lot of people in this room getting roadways done, getting areas cleaned up before. It definitely is a team group effort, all departments, union, management, everyone to get us to open house. So it was quite a beautiful sight. So we ran all the way from the whole entire main walking areas of the plant, as well as tours. But I will show you, Jeff has gotten us some cool, I tried to get it as good as I can, some drone footage. So this is kind of it's hard to show the whole, I just tried to zoom in on it. So we wrapped our way from the ECF building all the way to part of Main Street again to the first contact tank. So it was quite impressive to see tents everywhere and stuff going on everywhere. A little bit of a closer view of it. And this is just beautiful, I think, seeing Pittsburgh in the background and Mount Washington. And then you see our beautiful new north end and another angle of just our open house footprint. So that's pretty impressive. New and returning exhibits. We had Friends of the Riverfront was back, Upstream Pittsburgh, House for Clean Water, very popular this year. We had some, actually you'll see in that photo, a few of our dogs that came by to promote what we're doing to keep the waterways cleaned up and cleaning up after your pets. We had the lab tour. This is the first year the lab was actually an operating lab, which is really cool and is very popular. The lab staff was able to squeeze in 8 tours, which was one more than last year, which was great. And people looked very engaged when we went by and visited, and in the photos. Building Our Future, Scholastic took another thing added to the other 12 or 13 things they do at open house. And so they added Building Our Future. We wanted something for a little bit older, kind of a quiet zone, or not so much a quiet zone. I shouldn't say Legos and quiet do not mix, but just an area where a little bit older ones could kind of have fun and build. And they got a really cool giveaway Legos that were aquatic Legos. They got that to go with them. If you didn't make it over there, you missed. If you don't wind all the way through open house, you missed it. So City of Pittsburgh, they did some neat, they were new this year as well, doing their infrastructure commission, and PRC, Pennsylvania Resource Council, thanks to the awesome work of our IW, our residuals area, they were back. So those of you that were there noticed that we had the compost, what was landfill, all of that. I reached out to Megan today to see if we had numbers. Our goal is 90% compostable. So the numbers are being calculated. I was hoping I was the one who could do the drum roll and announce it, but that's not today. So that will be coming. And then the crowd cheer directors, we have Frankie the Fish with Clancy, one of our very popular Pups ambassadors. And he was in costume too. He had all kind of fish stuff going on. And then we've had our lovely art directors took a photo with Frankie at the beginning of the day. So had to get that in there. We usually just embarrass Doug individually. Anyway, uh, very importantly, I'm kidding around a lot, but we're very, very proud of this. Our attendance, definitely, it went up from last year. We are at over 1,700 attendees. Round of applause. And as I mentioned, we had 23 full capacity planned tours. Anyone who wanted to get a tour got on a tour, and that's always great. So we had that, and then as I mentioned, the lab had 8 full capacity tours as well. So people were touring, going all around, and it was just very exciting to see. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we had this is our first attempt. We're going to work on this next year. If you zoom in on these, it's kind of humorous. I'm astonished. Anyway, we were told at first to look towards the sun by Jefferson. So we looked kind of like it wasn't, anyway. And then we looked a different way and we said, let's try again next year. Because someone even said, let's make an OHD. That we need a little practice. So we'll be practicing sometime in August to make an OHD with our staff. So we had about 173 management and union volunteers. And then we also had, when I was doing these numbers, I'm like, we had 163 full day or AM, PM consultant volunteers. So without your help, we certainly couldn't do it as well as we do and have staff on hand to help out. So we really, really cannot express enough how much we appreciate you coming that day. Okay, flow behind the scenes. This is really, we have a photo booth every year. This year we moved it over towards the food area, so it got a lot more. We had some great volunteers. Kim and B were getting people to come over more. So we had about 11 pages. If anyone wants to see them, it's kind of internally, I can show you some photos, but you would have gotten these if you did the booth. But these are just the different backdrops. Sean McWilliams offered some tunneling ones, which was cute, was really cute seeing people try to pretend like they're doing something in the tunnels. And then we had the boring machine, our lovely North End, and then a few of the city of Pittsburgh. So those are new this year. We had some backgrounds, and it was really entertaining to see what all people did. I tried to get a variety, but so that was that. So that's also something fun to do. Survey, in different formats, this has existed over the years, it sounds like. Just from emails to, there was a year, I guess, where there were physical cards that people would fill out. So we are getting feedback. We always want to see what's working, what's not, what we can do better. How did you hear about us? So this came back this year. It's pretty much a sampling because a lot of people, we announced it at open house throughout the day. There was a QR code at the garage and food area, different areas where you could do a QR code and do the survey. We also sent a follow-up email to anyone that attended, to all 1,700 people that attended. So this was a nice sampling size, but these are 3 things I wanted to point out is 90%. And when I put this, I thought Arletta's going to say, well, about the other 10%. 90 were excellent. The other 10 were right below, just the next bar. So 90% of attendees, which just was awesome to see. Excellent. This is really interesting too. 53%, a little over 53% of attendees were new to open house, which is also, I don't know if y'all thought that was kind of surprising to me a little bit, which is great to see. A stat that's not on here is a lot of the main ways they found out is word of mouth, employees. That was the biggest on our graph of all the different ways we reach out. And then 98.9% of attendees are very likely or likely to attend again and recommend open house. So those 53% new people, they're going to tell whoever. And so consultants, everyone else, be ready to go. We will need you again next year. So that was exciting to see. Social media. Here's where it gets, let me see if I can start this video. Social media. A lot of you may have noticed we're getting more creative with leading up to open house, building some hype. Those of you in the room, you don't have to, but please, we have YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram. Search ALCOSAN and start liking us and following us and sharing our stuff if you don't. And so this is a little recap of what Geneva, our social media specialist, you probably saw her out about. She put a little reel together for us. one more video. I'm getting testing my skills of PowerPoint here, so. So this Derek, some of you may have heard of Derek, he may be in these meetings every once in a while. He put together this also a different version over, you know. We go. See you in September 2026. Hard to believe. So we'll go over all of the stuff that we saw in the surveys, other things, see what kind of space we have next year. And so this is just a little more of some stuff we had going on in the open house. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for spreading the word, for helping volunteer, for indulging me at these meetings. And I really love doing it. So see you soon. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you so much for those videos and presentations. I want to thank Doug for his work at the cotton candy machine. I'm getting candy out of your hair. All right. So next we have the report on 2025 operating costs and revenue compared to the budget as per attached. So this is Exhibit A. Karen, Director Karen, please.
Got it. That's hard to follow up. That's a lot of fun, but this is my fun. So as of this report is as of the end of August, and through August, we are 66.7% of the year completed. As of that point in time, we had collected 71.2% of our budgeted revenues and had expended 61.2% of our operating expenditures. So we continue to operate in a sound fiscal manner. Any questions?
Thank you. All right, next we have the wastewater treatment plant expansion cost report. Director Kennedy.
Thank you. So this is sort of our dashboard for the plant expansion through the middle of September. We are getting very close to finishing up both the North End and the East Headworks projects. I think they're both above 98% complete. And we are opening bids next week on the wet weather pump station. Those open on Thursday, so we will be reviewing them thoroughly and hopefully coming to the board for a recommendation of award soon.
Thank you. Next, we have the report of actions by the executive director and approval of construction change orders within the contingency with board approval at the time of the contract award as authorized for resolution number 2022-3-4 Exhibit C.
Chair, the first one, the first two change orders are for the environmental compliance facility. The first one is for the plumbing portion of that contract. Humidifier drain needed to be relocated, and we had a pretty substantial rain. I think it was the first week in August that actually backed rainwater back into the building, significant amount of rainwater. So there were some flat or check valves that needed to be installed. The next one for the environmental compliance facility, HVAC. This one airflow detection in a particular area. We needed to be able to alert the chemist to the fact that the airflow was appropriate. We added a indicator light to be able to do that. The next one, coming off of the DCF, going to the CSO bypass and disinfection. Because I know you paid close attention to Kim's report, you know that this project was the 10th line down, right? It was the 10th line down, and it is at about 62% completion. So seeing change order number 9 with respect to that, that's pretty good. And this one is for duct bank box outs. These are just openings like windows that needed to be placed for stability and access purposes. The last change order, this project is relatively new, because you remember the previous one was the 10th line down. You'll know this was the 11th line down. It is only at about 14% completion. First change order, and it is relative to solid sticking and dewatering improvements, hugely important projects. There was a separation of
Oh, there was, that was not the end of a sentence.
Yeah. Separation of the concrete and the tank repairs needed for safety purposes. Now, with this change order, there's also additional investigation of the concrete that will take place. And based on the results of that, you're probably going to see a future change order. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna move on to action items. The first, can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second, we have exhibit D. Consider authorizing payment of invoices in excess of $23,800 processed during the period of July 15 to September 15, 2025, and review the summary report of expenses in excess of $12,900 processed during the same period as per attached D.
This is the invoice list you received in advance. If you have questions about specific invoices, we will respond.
Motion to pay the invoice. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the motion to award the following contracts. So the first contract is number 1814A, compressor check valve purchase to H&M Associates at the price of $58,104.56, which includes the base contract bid of $52,822 and 33 cents, and a 10% contingency of $5,282.33. The bids that we received are indicated in Exhibit E.
Madam Chair, board will recognize that this is a contract with a letter A, meaning it was a new bid. The original 1814 was from, I believe it was November of last year. We needed to shore up the spec to make sure we got good bids, that we got the appropriate equipment. Went back out in March of this year. You can see we still only have a single bidder. However, this is a bidder and a specific product meets our spec, but it's a bidder that is recommended by the valve manufacturer. MBWBE, and the pricing is very good. It is below our estimate. So although one bid we recommend award, and we had sent to 7 potential bidders, nobody else bid.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have contract number 1816. That says 2025 manhole improvement contract to Independent Enterprises at the price of $3,078,328, which includes the base contract bid of $2,798,480 and a 10% contingency of $279,848. The bids that we received are indicated on Exhibit F.
Madam Chair, this contract is just what it says, manhole improvements, raising, lowering to meet grade. There will be CCTV work done to determine what the condition of the manholes are. We sent to 34 potential bidders, only 8 purchased the bid documents of the 4 bid. As you can see, the pricing again is below our estimate, so we recommend award.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said they purchased the bid documents. Like, is it always the same price for bid documents, or does it change based on the size of the contract? It's always the same.
I'm not sure. Contract to contract relative to other contracts. So like for the tunnel contract, is it the same? All the same?
Yes.
All the same.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Any other questions?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, contract number 1833, furnish and deliver Teflon tubing for industrial waste sampling to Field Environmental at the price of $2.25 per foot. Bids received are indicated on, this is Exhibit G.
Chair, sent to 11-5, purchase the documents, only a single bidder. You can see from the bottom left-hand corner of the page, it is the company who is currently furnishing, and we're pleased with the product that they have been providing. So we recommend award.
Questions?
Motion approved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have contract number 1835, furnish and deliver incinerator bed sand to Christie Minerals at the price of $710 per ton. Bids were received and are represented in Exhibit H.
There is sent to 16, 8 purchase, single bidder. It is a specialty product. Just to give you a frame of reference, when we have a response like this, we will contact those who, although they purchase documents, chose not to bid to find out what was the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't meet spec. Sometimes they cannot get the product from somebody else that they were planning on applying. And in this case, one potential bidder, we supply sand. We just don't do it by contract. So I don't know if that means it's a back alley deal or what, but they did.
Interesting. Okay. All right, are there any other questions?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the motions to authorize the preparation of specifications and advertisement for bids for the following contracts. These can be found in Exhibit I. The first is contract number 1836, furnish and install a de-aerator.
Madam Chair, the aerator is part of the boiler feed water system. This particular unit was purchased and installed in 2000. It's time to replace it. It has certainly exceeded its useful service. Can I just go through each?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
The second one for emergency sewer televising toward next year. was that having emergency response team that can do that type of investigation. Yeah, this is for emergencies. We have certain capability in-house. This is for quick mobilization to do those things that we are unable to do. Next one, furnishing and delivering caustic soda diaphragm grade. This is for our odor control system. Last, furnishing and delivering line. This is how we stabilize biosolids before they're taken to landfill for and application.
Okey-dokey. So you do them one at a time or do them together? Okay, we'll combine them together. Can I get a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the motion to approve the following change orders that exceed $30,000 in value or whose cumulative total value with previously approved change orders is greater than 5% of the original contract amount. These items can be found in Exhibit J. And we'll do these separately. And we're going to start with number 23 under contract 1723. And this is the North End plant expansion from Mascaro Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $56,674.
Madam Chair, which line was this on Kim's present? I don't remember. That's fine. However, this is one of the projects that she indicated that it's close to closing. We had some needs to support our disinfection in this area. I would say some very creative last minute changes were implemented that facilitated that. There's also a credit embedded here where some of what we believe to be a need for potential testing of anchors was not needed, which took out about 10,000.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions on this first change order?
Approved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have number 2. So number 10, this is under contract 1723E, North End Facilities from Bronder Technical Services in the amount of $16,054.23.
Madam Chair, this is the electrical portion of the previous enhancements to the disinfection system. The electrical match to that.
Okay.
We'll approve the change order. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And motion passes. Next, we have number 16. This is under contract 1729G, East Headworks from PJ Dick for the amount of $100,328. The costs are associated with additional purveyor bracing. Take it away.
Madam Chair, specifically the bracing, there's an area we were not able to access with our truck. We had to reconfigure this particular conveyor. So that was a move beyond that. Water lines that needed to be relocated, a direct water line and a sample line. Rating for a sump pump where it had previously been stated that it was just a cover. And we needed to take locking mechanism out of doors that we would prefer were not locked all the time.
Can I get a motion, please?
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're moving on to motions to approve the following service authorizations for professional consultants. Assignment is based on consultants' past efforts, knowledge and understanding of the task involved, and the ability of the consultant's staff to perform the task in the time required. The first is for GFT Incorporated under the agreement for engineering consultant services for an amount not to exceed $784,000 to perform the scope of service for the assignment of regionalized regulator structures project.
Madam Chair, I will point out that items F, G, H, I, and J all went before the Professional Services Committee at a public meeting held on September 11th for the regionalized regulator structures. This is for GFT, known as Gannett Fleming previously. With regionalization, we are taking on new responsibilities, new infrastructure. Right now, we have 37 new regulator structures that we don't know much about. Whether the existing documents as these structures have transferred to us are accurate, hard to tell. This will provide for that investigation, the CCTV, the overall assessment. I'll wait for you to go to acute.
Okay. So we're doing these separately? Okay, so let's, if there are no questions on this one, no? Okay.
Motion to accept. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next we have the Acuta Digital. This is for professional, oh yeah, we talked about this in professional services. It's for an amount not to exceed $180,750. And this is for scope of service for the website redesign.
So moved. Second.
Well, you want, I think you wanted to tell us something.
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the motion to approve modification of service authorization 318 for Three Rivers Wet Weather for additional work associated with ongoing municipal stakeholder support for an amount not to exceed $3,993,665.
Madam Chair, Three Rivers, excellent partner. Three Rivers exists because ALCOSAN and the Health Department came together to form Three Rivers a long time ago in 1998. They continue to provide support to our municipal customers that then provides support for our clean water program. This fee will take them through December 31st of 2027.
Right,
Motion approved. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the motion to approve modification of service authorization 381 for Hatch to provide construction management services for the Ohio River Tunnel contract for an amount not to exceed $29,238,000.
Madam Chair, the board retained Hatch as the CM, the tunnel C. Let me be more specific, because there are people here who would die if I said just tunnel CM. For the Ohio River Tunnel CM work back in September of 2022. As the board is aware, we'd like to bring the construction manager on during design, get that critical information while you're in the design process. So the fee that was awarded to them back in 2022 was just that, to take them through design. It was also to have them facilitate oversight of our site demolition contracts, of which we have had 3. This fee will now take them into the actual construction of the tunnel. Bids are due January of next year, which is right around the corner. We need to get them up and running to transition their thinking again toward construction. This will take them through 2028. And it will probably come back with, no, and then somebody, not we, let me use a different pronoun, and then somebody in 2028 will come back and make some additional recommendation.
Move for adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next we have the motion to approve modification of service authorization 385 for the Community College of Allegheny County for additional work associated with the mechanical technical training program. And this is for an amount not to exceed $241,689.
Chair, our apprenticeship program is, it is important to the authority. It is important to the workforce. And we have had great success with that program. Doug spoke to where we are with this particular request during professional services. He is now going to enlighten the entire board. Douglas?
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair, obviously, since we have an action item relative to our apprentice program, probably felt it was relevant just to refamiliarize some with what the program is, talk personally of how important it is, because it is a component of the maintenance department. The craft that we have are as talented as any. They may not necessarily have the book smarts, but they are far more talented. In some cases, they are artists. And our program has allowed those that come to us in various forms, with background skill sets, usually into the custodial position, which they have this much interest in, allowing them to transition into something that either growing up, they had a passion for, tinkered with things with their parents or siblings on, but it gives them the opportunity to pursue a career that they enjoy. And as somebody that sees a lot of folks come into the authority, finding somebody that can find a spot that they enjoy is good for not only the employee, but also for the authority. So with that, the action item is specifically related to our mechanical maintenance apprentice program. But just at a really high level, this is kind of the foundation of the program. These are the skilled crafts that we have as part of the program itself. It is the opportunity to train both formally and informally with journeymen we have. They are partnered with some of our more skilled craftsmen. Sometimes those skilled craftsmen aren't the best teachers. Sometimes they like to do it themselves. So it's always a dynamic of partnering up some of our eager apprentices that want to learn, partnering them with skilled crafts. So that's a balance of sometimes the supervisory staff, but ultimately it's the joint apprenticeship committee that is the unique part and the foundation of the success that leads to some of the folks that we've got out of the program. So joint means it is a 6-member committee, 3 bargaining unit members of 433, in most cases, craft men themselves, that have a passion for what they do. So their interest in getting the best quality candidates through the apprentice program is near and dear to their own heart. And there are 3 members of the management staff, mostly the supervisors of those same craft. And it's that committee that ultimately ends up setting the standards, goes through the selection process, and ultimately picks the curriculum and the instruction. And it is a very, they are highly sought after positions. We have recently gone through and posted for 2 positions and 2 different crafts. And I think we had 30 applicants that were interested in those 2 spots. And when you think of the selection process of, it doesn't take much to separate somebody that gives you hopefully the 2 that allow them to be the most successful going forward. But it is a commitment. So it's usually 4 years as an apprentice and then another 8 years to allow both the employee to benefit from the program, but also ensure that the authority that pays for the schooling, pays for their time through the training program to kind of reap the rewards of those that have gone through it. Specifically in the mechanical apprentice program, this is just a little bit of what goes on in the several years. There are various tasks that they have to get signed off by their supervisors because every day isn't the same in maintenance. You can't always time when certain activities are going to happen. So we may slot things that can happen in the first year, but they may not happen to the third or the second year. Schooling is usually in the middle 2 years. So schooling is usually in the second and the third year. For every one of our other crafts, there is some commercial school that we generally send our people to a class that's already available. In most cases now, I'm glad to say it's CCAC. Going back a couple decades, it wasn't so much. It was a Dean Tech or a variety of other tech schools that sadly those aren't around as much anymore. But CCAC has responded, I think, to not only the needs of the authority, but obviously others that are out there and have various HVAC, instrumentation, electrician, auto mechanics, different programs that are out there. The unique part for us is that the mechanic apprentice program training, it's not a millwright class that you go to. It is more of a very specialized group of folks that get trained on things that are specific to us. We've not found the commercially available class. So over the years, we've had Babcock and Wilcox, we've had Mindish industrial training, but at this point in time, we now have CCAC. So as you can imagine, we have several decades of documents cobbled together in the curriculum for our program, for our mechanics. And in most cases now we're hiring trainers to train with our curriculum. So by selecting CCAC previously with the board's approval, we knew this might be an opportunity for us to take all of those documents and instead of shuffling papers and multiple 3-ring binders, truly allow them to rewrite our curriculum and make sure that it is customized for us. So what's on the agenda, the majority of that cost is solely for taking our existing curriculum of over 30 classes that we offer to our mechanics and truly doing an assessment of the position and make sure that our curriculum is truly best for us. And then going forward, we would then formally just be hiring trainers and have nothing to do with the curriculum itself. So that is at a very high level, our program. That's what's in front of you today. It is a passion, I know, for my staff that, maintenance people they're maintenance people and they love what they do. And we eagerly look for those that are interested in being successful. And, when you ask an employee to commit to a 12-year time period, that's a lengthy period of time to commit to. You better be sure of what you want. So we do provide informational meetings. There's always my meet and greet with new employees to talk about our program. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of our program. Thank the union president for his support as being an observer. More recently, Mr. Shea, in our program that we have right now, and I recommend approval of the action item for today.
So moved.
I just want to say, we're eager. This is a really amazing opportunity, but literally I feel like my face being happy. Like I feel heat and joy, which is something to say in this room. Because like my family, like my grandfather, he was a house builder. He was a person who worked with his hands. And I've grown up just valuing people who can do things, not just talk about doing things. My uncles, truck drivers, my dad was a machinist, so just, I can't tell you how I'm a little bit happier than I probably should be, but like, I'm thrilled about this program. And I also am thrilled for the opportunities that people get coming here to work here, and I'm thrilled to say that. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Passed.
I seconded it.
First,
Yeah.
second,
You get it, okay.
and then we all said yes.
I was worrying
Yes.
about Max saying.
Yeah.
listen.
No, first and second.
Okay.
Everybody said yes,
Cool.
and it was passed. That's awesome. Okay. Getting back to the solemn occasion of the motion to approve modification of service authorization 39301, 39302. So this is Hatch to continue as the retained engineer for another year.
Madam Chair, members of the board, yes, very separate and distinct from their role as the ORP. They're required to have an engineer of record to retain that. This Hatch has provided those services well on a 2-year contract. This is asking for the 3rd year, an optional 1 year. Please approve.
So moved. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
It, motion passes. Motion to adopt resolution number 2025-0901, authorizing the executive director to execute the Spring Garden Crit Chamber Project Agreement in cooperation with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority, doing business as Pittsburgh Water.
Madam Chair, as we discussed previously, the more we are outside of the confines of the plan, the more we are going to interface and interfere with other utilities. This will provide for just what it says, work that is going to be done in connection with the Spring Garden Grit Chamber. Specifically, this is for water line and hydrant relocation.
Okay,
Motion to adopt. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Aye.
Next we have, L, which is the, well, you know,
Yeah.
they said yes, you said yes, and.
next time.
Wow. All right, motion to authorize the executive director to execute the relocation project interim estimate invoice agreement, wow. With DQE Communications providing for the deposit of $16,898.10 with the Project Resource Group Incorporated. And this is for fiber optic lines.
Madam Chair, again, being out there with our utility neighbors, same thing.
Okay, pretty straightforward. No questions? Can I get a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the motion to authorize the executive director to execute an agreement with the Pennsylvania State Historic Preservation Office regarding the Regional Conveyance Facilities Project in a form except we have to not have a 4-page set of motions here, in a form acceptable to the solicitor.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if you would prefer to meet in August, you can have briefs. Okay, we'll work that out. All right, so, this,
Oh, you took my page. Okay, gotcha.
the State Historic Preservation Office, better known as SHPO, has requirements. They can, when you are out working in an area that has historic designation, you have to color within the lines. There are preservation covenants. That's not what this is. This is an agreement. And the agreement is simply that we recognize that there is an historic designation here. We will do what we can to mitigate any impacts of what we're doing. That require to be able to move forward and to continue through the process with the regulatory agencies.
Motion authorized. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The next one is the motion to authorize the executive director to execute a license agreement with Borghese Lane LLC for the purposes of mooring the ALCOSAN vessels during the construction of the wet weather pump station.
Madam Chair, our work barge, our tug, the Readshaw tug will need to be temporarily for 4 years. Access to those relocated as we go through construction of the wet weather pump station. And a lot of investigation went into where we could do this that made sense. And within the Pittsburgh pool, this is it. We have a relationship with Borghese and recommend you move forward.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have the motion to authorize the executive director to execute the master service agreement with Access Information Management of Wisconsin LLC, which ironically is in what, Green Tree? In a form acceptable to the solicitor for the secure storage of escrowed Ohio River Tunnel and wet weather pump station bid documents.
Madam Chair, 2 large projects that will have quite a bit of documentation in the bid phase alone. This provides for just that storage of those documents. Hopefully, we will never need to access them. Should we? This needs to be in place.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the motion to authorize the executive director to execute an agreement of sale and a quitclaim deed to acquire real estate identified as a portion of block and lot number 75F350, currently owned by Norfolk Southern Railway Company. And this is for the purposes of plan expansion.
Madam Chair, typically we sit here and talk about the fact that we're acquiring property for purposes of the clean water program and what's going to be done external to the plant. This is road right back here behind this building that we have not had full unfettered access to ever. The opportunity has that we can correct that. That's what this will do. It will ease much as we move forward with plant expansion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the motion to approve the Cycle 12 program guidelines in a form recommended by ALCOSAN Board of Directors Green Committee.
Madam Chair, items Q, R, S. How did I not get to Z? No. Items Q, R, and S were taken before the Green Committee during a meeting on September 16th. The first one is just that when we move into a new cycle, if there are touch-up issues that need to be taken care of with respect to program guidelines, we do that. That's what is being asked for here.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is the motion to approve municipal source control projects for cycle 11 under the Green provide a list of the GROW program and provide successful applicants with a grant agreement. This is information can be found in Exhibit K.
Madam Chair, under cycle 11, we have these projects that we are recommending to move forward with agreements.
Okay,
So moved. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to modify the grant agreements for the GROW program by extending the term of the contract. And this information can be found in Exhibit L.
We have these 3 existing projects that require an extension. You will see the listing that many of them have been previously extended. That's that next to the last column. On the second page, not so many. However, just working with our municipal partners when they require additional time, we like to offer that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, next we have the motion to approve the revised professional services procurement manual. This was originally approved a mere 10 years ago, November 19, 2015.
Madam Chair, once this change, we received information about the modifications in July. You have had time to absorb, there were some questions, you've responded. Please approve the update.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion to approve passes. Do we have any new business?
Madam Chair, we do have new businesses. To leave. A member of the executive team will be leaving us permanently. So, not me. Suzanne is retiring. This is my family. You guys, my family.
That's a long time. Well, boy, you've been a fixture for us.
7 years,
Yeah.
but you're in good hands. Yeah.
I did before my duties, the first real runner up, Samara.
Wow. Has been a lifesaver. She came to us originally when Jim Roddy did a review of ALCOSAN, which he conveniently did after he left as chairman and became the first county executive. And we passed with flying colors. But Suzanne was one of the people that he sent on this transition team. And we kept in touch. And when the opportunity developed, here she is. It went like that.
It did.
Appreciate you immensely. Best of everything. And answer the phone when I call.
I told everybody, I gave everybody my phone number. None of the consultants. Putting my number and going forward.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Of course. Well, the next meeting is going to be held October 23rd. And so this meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Henry.